Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another video. A couple days ago, someone commented on one of my videos saying, I feel like we're going to see an OKC video coming up soon. And to that commenter, you're exactly right, because today we're talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Right now, we're sitting at 21-23, the 11th seed in the Western Conference, just a half a game back of the play-in spot when a lot of the major media outlets predicted us to have like 15, 18, 20 wins on the season. And that was with Chet Holmgren, who hasn't played this entire season. We've dealt with a bunch of injuries outside of him as well, and it's all been an incredible success. You're starting to see why the rebuild happens, why you're bad for a few years to accrue all this young talent that is leading us to these victories, and we're on the verge of doing something really special. And like I said, it comes due to a lot of those young talents that we have. You've got, of course, Gilgeous-Alexander, who is the team's best player and has emerged as a 30-point per game scoring superstar. You've also got young guys like a Jalen Williams, who's probably a top 3 rookie at the moment. Pokusevski was coming into his own before he dealt with some injury. You also have Aaron Wiggins and Cameron Williams, who are really solid young role players. Trey Mann has shown a ton of potential. Lou Dort as a defensive stopper. There are so many players that are playing important roles. But there's one guy in particular that I want to talk about because I feel like he deserves a lot more credit for what he's doing with this team, especially after a lot of y'all out there watching this video probably kind of counted him out in the offseason. And that guy is Josh Giddey. Today, we're going to talk about what he's doing so well, how he's improved from his rookie season, and what the ceiling is for him, because right now, it feels like the sky is the limit. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos, and let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's start off by going back to Josh Giddey's rookie campaign. Last season, as the 6th overall pick, Josh debuted with 12.5 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, and 6.2 assists, while winning every Western Conference Rookie of the Month award except for one, which went to Jalen Green while Josh Giddey was injured. He ended up on all-rookie second team because Jalen Green and a few other of the rookies went on absolute tears at the end of the season, and to be honest, I'm not too pressed about that. I understand why it happens, but I do think he probably had an argument to be on that first team, but it was a really good debut campaign nonetheless. He, of course, had multiple jaw-dropping passes, immediately becoming one of the most exciting young playmakers in the entire sport from day one. He grabbed a ton of rebounds. He was second in the rookie class in rebounding. He scored, like I said, over 12 points per game as well, and he showed a lot of flashes to be a really solid scorer. So everything that I saw from Josh Giddey was super promising. So overall, I had absolutely no complaints about the way that Josh Giddey's rookie season went. I thought it was an incredible debut, and there were some concerns, as you see with all rookies, and those were things that I figured Josh could build off of. The biggest thing was his efficiency. He wasn't very efficient as a scorer. He shot just 41.9% from the field, 26.3% from 3, and 70.9% from the line. Now, rookie efficiency is typically low. It's very rare that you see a player immediately come into the league as this hyper-efficient guy. It just doesn't happen. It takes a lot of time to adjust to the league, the new rules, especially players that come from overseas, and Josh Giddey was playing, of course, in the NBL. They talk about the pace of play being different, the rules being enforced are different. It just takes some time to adjust, even if you're a player jumping from college to the NBA. So Josh was still adjusting to all of that. He was coming into a brand new system and learning, and like I said, he did deal with a couple of injuries here and there. So the efficiency, while of course you want to see it continue to improve, I wasn't too concerned. And you also had some conversations about, could he fit with Gilgeous-Alexander? And I thought they did a good job of showing that, yeah, there is a lot of potential for them to fit as well. Now, a big part of that is Josh Giddey becoming a better scorer and a more efficient scorer in particular, because Shai, of course, is great at getting to the basket. So you want to see that 3-point percentage come up from Josh. You want to see them learn to play alongside each other in terms of on and off ball scenarios. And I thought they did a pretty good job of showcasing some of the possibilities that are there with this dynamic duo in the backcourt. But then as we get to this past offseason, all of a sudden it felt like everybody forgot what they saw from Josh Giddey heading into the second year of his career. All of a sudden there was all this talk about him being a bust, about them seeing a pretty low ceiling for him, that maybe he might have already peaked. Part of that came because he didn't play phenomenally in the summer league, which is like an exhibitionary league. I feel like we should all know at this point that what people do in the summer league really does not matter at all. Sure, it's really fun to watch, and yeah, I'm going to watch it every year and overreact when the players I want to see play well do succeed, but really it doesn't mean anything, especially for a guy that, like I said, had such a decorated and incredible rookie campaign. Everybody just started calling him a bust or a bad pick, or looking back and saying, oh, he actually wasn't that good. And it was this crazy narrative flip from a lot of people being like, oh, we were wrong about Josh Giddey in his first season, to then saying like, no, actually we were right. He is going to be a bust. And so I was super confused, and I figured coming into the season, it was going to be a pretty big year for him. But he's even probably exceeded my expectations. Over the course of this year, not only has Josh been the second most important reason as to why we're exceeding everybody's expectations, but he's also shown legit all-star potential if he continues to grow the way that he has. And he still is, keep all this in mind as we talk about him, 20 years old. He still is one of the youngest players in the entire association. So far this season, Josh Giddey is averaging 15.7 points per game, 8 rebounds and 5.6 assists, while shooting 47.6% from the field, 34.2% from 3, and 81.4% from the line. These are really good numbers for basically any complimentary player, never mind a second-year guy that, like I said, is still one of the youngest players in the entire NBA at the moment. And probably the thing that you note the most is the improvement in efficiency. His field goal percentage has jumped by 5.7 points, but probably even more impressive is his three-point shooting has risen by 8 percentage points. He's gone from being like in the mid-20s to a mid-30s% shooter, something that many people thought he would never get to in his entire career. It's been amazing to watch, and so far, since December 1st, Josh Giddey is scoring 17.1 points per game on 49.8% shooting from the field, 41.5% from deep on 3.5 attempts a game, and from the free throw line, he's shooting 93.5% since that December 1st mark. And he hasn't missed a free throw since December 21st. So he has now gone almost a full month without missing a free throw, and it's been a number of attempts. So Josh Giddey, his efficiency has skyrocketed. And let's talk a little bit about why he's been so much more effective as a scorer this season. If you watch Giddey play, probably the first thing you'll notice from last season to this one is that he's using his size a lot more. There were some times last season where I felt like he was trying to play as if he were a smaller guard and not utilizing his like 6'8", 6'9" frame nearly as much as he should, because he's playing the point guard position. So a lot of times he would have smaller defenders on him, and he kind of just didn't take advantage of those advantages that he did have. Now he's doing the exact opposite. If you put a smaller guy on Josh, he's going to make you pay. He's going to post them up and oftentimes shoot this little turnaround push shot that is going to go in most of the time. It's become a really efficient go-to shot for him because basically the smaller guys are getting no contest on it. He's able to shoot right over them, and he makes it, like I said, a majority of the time. He also goes consistently to this floater. He can back guys all the way down to the basket, and sometimes teams have to send help. And in those cases, he's able to make really high-level passes out of that double team situation, continuing to utilize that high-level playmaking to leverage his now improved scoring. So that's been a big thing that we've seen from him. And he's really just also going into guys a lot more rather than trying to like finesse around a rim protector. He goes into their body or even the body of a wing defender, and that gives him a lot more opportunity to extend his arms out, get the ball off the glass the way he needs it to spin it home. Giddey is also diversifying his offensive portfolio. You'll see him take shots that you would have never seen him take last season. And I think a great example of this is like the Dirk fade dagger he had against Chicago the other night as I'm recording this. Just absolutely absurd stuff that you typically wouldn't see. And as he continues to grow and build up those shots too, he becomes even more dangerous. If you're just looking at things from a numerical standpoint, probably the thing that stands out the most is his three-point shooting. Like I said, an 8 percentage point jump is not normal. Even if you're going from a rookie to a sophomore player, when we see a lot of leaps be taken, or even a second to a third-year guy, 8 percentage points, that's ridiculous, especially on a similar number of attempts. So what is he doing differently? The first thing we can talk about is how his jump shot has changed, and it hasn't changed drastically, but there are a couple minor tweaks that have helped him out a little bit, and those come courtesy of Chip England, who we brought in from San Antonio, and is one of the world's most renowned shooting coaches. So when we brought him in, I was super excited thinking that he was going to help unlock Josh Giddey's shooting by a considerable margin, but this is even beyond what I expected in this one offseason. He only has gotten like half a season and an offseason to work with Chip, and he's already improved to this level. And his shooting form isn't drastically different. It's pretty similar, but if you take a look at it, he does use his offhand a little bit less to push the ball. It's a little bit more vertical, and there is a bit more arc on it. And overall, he just seems a lot more confident taking these threes. He's not hesitating. And that is something that he talked about, not just shooting to prove to people that he's a good shooter, but shooting in the situations where he feels in rhythm and he feels like he has the best chance to make the three. And it's worked out for him amazingly. He's been so efficient. He likes to do this thing too, where he catches the ball and has a couple of jab steps with a defender close to him, and they back up a little bit. And as soon as Josh gets that space, he shoots it right over them, and he's drilled a lot of those threes that I can think of. He's made transition threes as well, of course, catch and shoot opportunities off of a pass from a guy like Shea. He's hitting basically every number of look that you can give him, and it's been an amazing piece of why the offense has improved so drastically, because when you have a legit threat out there to score alongside Shea, it helps open up his game a bunch as well as the game for everybody else. And when he does have that improved shooting, it also opens up Josh Giddey's playmaking even more, because if he is a respectable three-point shooter shooter, or like we talked about earlier, he's a threat to drive, finish around the rim, hit that floater, post up a smaller defender. That high-level playmaking that he's probably most known for becomes even more dangerous when he leverages those two together. If you have to stop Josh Giddey, close out hard on him from shooting a three, and he drives past you with his also improved handle, now you have to have another defender come over to try and stop him and cut him off on the way to the basket, and then he can either try and finish over them, hit them with a floater like he likes to do a lot, or he can kick it over to the corner and then they can swing it over. He can just continuously make the right reads, and that is something else that you've seen from Josh Giddey since his rookie season. The IQ, the passing vision, it's all there, and when he continues to evolve as a scorer, he only becomes more and more dangerous in those passing situations. He's also, of course, an amazing rebounder, as we talked about, averaging near 8 rebounds per game, and that does come back to his size and being a point guard, but he's also just so smart at finding where the ball is going to come off the rim. He always finds that exact moment to jump and get it over a taller guy, or if there are a bunch of smaller guys around him, like guards on the perimeter, he's able to get in position to steal the rebound away from them. And as he continues to grow as a scorer and a playmaker, which he's already showing a ton of improvement in both of those areas, those second chance opportunities that he can generate become even more dangerous, making that rebounding skill ever more valuable. All this to say, Josh Giddey has been really good this season. He's been highly impactful as an offensive player, improving his shooting, his playmaking, his rebounding, and playing well alongside Gilgeous-Alexander, not just as you can tell statistically from the both of them, but wins-wise. Like I said, we're exceeding basically everybody's expectations without Chet Holmgren, without someone that we could draft this upcoming season with multiple injuries to our front court guys. Josh has stepped up in such a big way, and he's been so phenomenal. And even defensively, which I didn't really touch on too much in this video, he's improved as well. He's done a lot better job of keeping his hands away and not getting reach-in fouls. It still is a bit of work in progress, but he's improved ever more on that end too. This brings us to the question of how good can Josh Giddey be? And I don't want to put a ceiling on him because I don't like to limit anybody in the league and say, oh, this is the most they can be. So instead, I'll kind of tell you what I think his potential outlook is. I think realistically, if Josh Giddey continues improving the way that he is, he could average around 18, 19 points per game. He could have around 7 rebounds, 7 assists, even more depending on the way that this team fills out with shooters and what his ultimate role is as a ball handler by the time we're trying to compete. But I think those aren't super unrealistic numbers. I could really see him reaching that level while doing it pretty efficiently. If that's the case, I don't see any reason, if the Thunder aren't really good in a couple of years, that he can't be an all-star player, make at least a few teams, and when we end up raising a title in Oklahoma City, because I'm going to speak it into existence, I think Josh Giddey is an incredible piece and super important to that ultimate victory. He's been amazing so far over the course of his very young career, still one of the youngest players in the league, improving at a rapid rate. If you watch Josh Giddey out there, you will understand that he can be very, very special, and he already is. With all that being said, I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos. Go ahead and comment down below letting me know what you think Josh Giddey's potential is. Do you think he could be an all-star like I do? Do you think he could even be an all-NBA player one day? Do you think he could like lead the league in assists? Let me know all that down below. I'd love to hear what y'all have to say. I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.